You know, it's kind of wild when you think about it, but we have mapped more of the surface of the moon than we have our own ocean floor. I mean, it covers over 70% of our planet, but most of it is still a complete mystery. So today, we're going to dive in and explore one of its most extreme and, frankly, most bizarre locations.
And that just raises this huge question, right? What is actually down there, in the deepest, darkest corners of our world? What kind of secrets, what kind of life is hiding in a place where sunlight has never, ever reached?
All right, let's go there. Our destination is what many call Earth's final frontier, the Mariana Trench. It's this massive, crescent-shaped scar in the Earth's crust, way out in the western Pacific. And we are heading down into the deepest known point on the entire planet.
To really wrap your head around how deep this is, just picture this. If you took Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, and you flipped it upside down and put it in the trench, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. We're talking about a depth of almost 11,000 meters. That's nearly 7 miles straight down.
This extreme part of the ocean actually has a name. It's called the Hadal Zone, which is, honestly, the perfect name since it's named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. And the deepest part of that zone, the very bottom of the bottom, is a spot called Challenger Deep. It's an abyss inside of an abyss.
But here's the thing, it's not just the depth that makes this place so unbelievably extreme. The real challenge, the thing that defines everything down there, is the absolutely mind-boggling, crushing pressure. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is about 15,750 pounds per square inch. It's a number so big it's hard to even picture. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's over 1,000 times the pressure we're all feeling right now just sitting here at sea level. Let me try to paint a picture for you. Imagine the weight of a giant elephant balancing on an area the size of one of your postage stamps. Now imagine that force on every single square inch of your body. That's what we're talking about. So down there, you've got complete, total, absolute darkness. You've got near freezing temperatures, just barely above 0 degrees Celsius. And you have that pressure, which would instantly crush most submarines, and definitely any person, like a soda can. This is, without a doubt, one of the most hostile environments on our planet.
And yet, humans, faced with these impossible conditions, a few brave pioneers have actually dared to make the journey. It's a story of incredible guts and just brilliant engineering.
Very, very few people have ever been to Challenger Deep. The club is super exclusive. It all started back in 1960 with the Trieste. Then, decades later, the filmmaker James Cameron did a solo dive, and more recently, the explorer Victor Vescovo has made a series of dives. That very first mission was in this thing, the Bathyscaphe Trieste. It was basically a deep-sea balloon. It had this massive float filled with gasoline to help it come back up. But the real secret, the key to its survival, was that little observation pod on the bottom. It was a perfect sphere with walls 5 inches thick, a shape designed specifically to spread out that immense, crushing pressure evenly. And trust me, it was anything but a smooth trip. When they were over 32,000 feet down, the two pilots, Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard, heard this terrifyingly loud bang. An outer window pane had cracked under the strain. They kept going, but can you imagine? It's a chilling reminder of just how dangerous it was. So, how did they keep their energy up on this 9-hour, high-stakes, history-making dive? Get this, their only provisions were 15 chocolate bars. That's it. An incredible feat of human exploration, fueled by candy. But what those first explorers, and the ones who came after, found down there was that they weren't alone. They discovered a world filled with bizarre, almost alien-looking life, all perfectly evolved to not just survive, but thrive in these insane conditions.
So let's meet some of the locals. This is one of the most famous ones, the sea devil anglerfish. In that total pitch-black darkness, it makes its own light. That little glowing lure that dangles in front of its face is packed with bioluminescent bacteria, and it just waits for some unsuspecting fish to swim right up to its giant mouth.
And then there's this little guy, the Dumbo octopus. You can see how it gets its name from those ear-like fins. It's the deepest dwelling octopus we know of, and it's just perfectly suited for the cold and the pressure.
But the real king of the deep, the undisputed champion vertebrate, is the Hadal snailfish. It looks so fragile, right? With its kind of see-through, gelatinous body. But that fragile look is actually its superpower. It doesn't have a hard, brittle skeleton that would just shatter.
Instead, its skeleton is made mostly of flexible cartilage, which allows it to just handle the pressure.
So how on earth does it do that? Well, the answer is literally in its genes. Over millions of years, it's basically gotten rid of all the genes it doesn't need down there, like genes for seeing color or for skin pigment. It also lost the genes that make bones hard, but at the same time, it made extra copies of other genes, like ones for pressure resistance and, get this, for hearing, which tells us its sound must be super important in a world with no light.
But the story of what's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, it isn't just about extreme geology and incredible animals. Recent expeditions have found something else entirely, something unexpected and, frankly, pretty depressing.
In the most remote, the most inaccessible place on the entire planet, explorers found something that could only have come from one place, from us. Something that has absolutely no business being there. This is what they saw, a beer bottle, just sitting on the sediment nearly 7 miles down. After her dive, the oceanographer Dawn Wright said this, calling it a powerful reminder that we as humans have to do better by our oceans and protect these habitats that we all ultimately depend on.
You know, that discovery is just a stark reminder that even though the deep sea feels like it's a world away, it is completely connected to our world up here. It's still Earth's biggest and least known habitat, and we are just barely scratching the surface of understanding it.
So as we keep trying to shine a light into this final frontier, it really leaves you wondering, right? What other incredible mysteries? What other alien-like creatures? And what other urgent warnings are just waiting for us at the bottom of the world?